Good evening, Earthlings. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's nice to see you nice. Just plug my computer in. I hope all is well this evening, or this afternoon, or this morning, wherever you are in the world. I'm blossoming in blue. Rather than pretty in pink, I'm blossoming in blue. Blossoming in blue. Let's see if I can bring you a little bit further forward. So if this is your first time on live stream, I shall update you on how it works. So the way it works, I haven't got the color right. I'm like, my chest is glowing. So if this is your first time on live stream, I shall tell you how it works. Basically, what you need to do is you can write to me on Skype. I know on my website I say that you can just call or write to me, but I should give you a bit of an amendment. If you could please write to me before calling, because it never works out being in time because I'm 30 seconds ahead of you. So write to me if you want to speak and call in, and just say, call me please, Lisa, and I will call you. Or you can write me a question and I will answer the question. That is all. I do these talks every Sunday at 6 p.m. French until later notice. I'm suspending Wednesday. So if you're used to me doing Wednesday and Sunday. So as the other people increased doing all their work from home, I have decreased it. I always like to go opposite to the trend. Pardon me. Got to get a burp in there quickly, just to make the audience feel welcomed. Brings people in. It makes them feel that they are welcome to be themselves in whatever form they turn up in today. If they're snivelling with hay fever, bogey coming out, that is welcome. If they have very smelly feet because they haven't washed them in a century, that is welcome. If they have Achilles heel and their skin is flaking all over the floor, that is welcome. They have the cold sores on the face and want to do the smoochy with everybody, that is welcome. I can't think of any others. I can think of one other one, but you're not really allowed to mention it when you're already a bit of an X on YouTube. YouTube is listening. I really wish I'd put some sugar in that. Shall I go and get some sugar now, or is that very rude? I presume it's... Oh, and I've forgotten tissues to wipe my nose on, so it's going to have to be the hand. Oh, I'm really failing tonight. Aren't I, Lisa, eh? I've forgotten to put sugar in my drink and forgotten tissues when I'm a hay fever sufferer who is not medicated, or only partially medicated sometimes when it's just desperate. Okay, we're going to have to move in a second. But I'll just introduce what happens, what takes place. So what takes place in the evening in these talks is that normally we begin with a meditation. Now the meditation is very serious, and if you feel like you can't do it, then you're not welcome at the talks. I know that all the other stuff is welcome, all the body oozing and leaking and being sick. But if you can't do the meditation correctly, then you're not welcome in our group. Because, it's all about energy. And if you've got energy which can't meditate on a pure divine level, which is expanding into one consciousness, then we don't want you, basically. We don't want the negative energy. We don't want the bad vibes. We only want the good times. And we're open to bodily oozing and pussing and dribbling. We're open, we're flexible. So basically in the meditation, the goal of it is nothing. Now that sounds to most people like a very easy target to make, but nothing's incredibly hard to achieve because it's not a thing, so therefore it doesn't exist. So in actuality, it's the hardest thing to achieve in the whole entire universe because you're trying to do something which doesn't actually exist. So, you know, the odds are against you. But anyway, the objective of the meditation is to do nothing. Sweet F.A. Not a dicky. Nada. Yada. Zip. Zero. Zilch. Nothing. But if you feel like this is too much of a tall order, because it is quite big, then you can count your breaths, which basically it's like a trick because you think this is really simple, but it's not. So basically you breathe in and you count 1, you breathe in, you breathe out, and then you breathe in again, you count 2, and then breathe out, breathe in, count 3. And you go all the way up to number 10. And when you've reached number 10, when you've arrived at 1, 0, 10, 10, I can't, yeah. Okay, 10 is the only other language I can say it in. When you've arrived at number 10, then you start again. You go back to 0 and then you do the whole process again. You count in, 1, out, 2, the next breath in, 3, the next breath in. And when you get to 10, you arrive back to 0. And that's all. It's that simple, but you'll realize that it's incredibly complex, like most things in this universe. And then the third option is just to keep moving your attention back to the I am. Back to the I am. And that one's kind of the in-between levels. So the breathing in and the counting the breath is really for, you know, the duds, for the people that are really crap at meditation. The 1 to 10, that's for the crappies. Then the I am one is the middle one, and that's, you know, like semi there. The ones that can do nothing, that can sit there and do sweet FA, then they really are advanced. Doing nothing is the goal, but that's incredibly hard because it doesn't exist. So it means a transportation between this world and non-existence. So, you know, that's what we do in meditation. It seems like Lisa is pretty hyperactive this evening. She hasn't talked to anyone today, so it's now all coming out on you. She's just been cleaning and writing and walking and bike riding. That's it. Okay, so just before the meditation though, I'm going to go and get some bog roll and some sweetener for my drink. But you may begin. You can start this practice. Just basically shut your eyes and your pie hole. Come on. Come on. There's a good girl. Space for you. Good evening, Earthlings, for the second time. Okay, I'm ready now to speak. After our interlude of meditation. Pardon me. Let me just to remind myself what the title of the talk is once again. The title of the talk is Would you prefer to be happy or to know non-duality? It's a mighty fine title. Okay. Would you prefer to be happy or to know non-duality? I think in the beginning of the Tao Te Ching, it's something like that. Thou who speaks does not know, though thou who does not speak knows. And that can be interpreted in many different ways, and it's really, really beautiful. Like, so you could interpret it as in there is no self. Like, so when you as a person are speaking, you do not know. And when there is nobody speaking, then they do know, or it is known. It could be interpreted like that, and it could also be interpreted as in like, as soon as you try to put this into words, you fail. You fail. I feel like over the last 9 years of speaking about this, like I on the human level have learned so much about the intellectual expression of non-duality. That sounds weird because the realization that I had wasn't intellectual, even though there was intellectual realizations that happened in this body. It wasn't an intellectual thing, it was an energetic shift. And translating that into words was really difficult. And if you ever listen to my talks, you'll see that in the beginning I was more dogmatic to what I'd been taught. So I spoke more like Roger, or more like Tony Parsons, or Nathan Gill, or Ramesh Balsekar. These were teachers that I followed a lot. Caesar Terrell was another teacher. All men. I had daddy issues, you know. Sorry, women, teachers out there. Myself. And there isn't. What's so confusing to the person who listens to this and thinks that it's an intellectual understanding, and that if you listen well enough, at some point you'll understand it, is that seems really mind-boggling that I had that shift and I didn't know how to put it intellectually. And so in the beginning I stuck to what I'd been taught, but I wasn't really interested in questioning it myself in my own free time. Like at first I remember my mind like being like, what the hell, and like trying to work stuff out. But then at the same time I wasn't really interested in trying to work it out. Like I think that's lucky in a way that there wasn't an interest that arose here where it was like I have to pin this into the intellect. But I then spoke about it. I then presented myself and spoke about it. And so then I had to become more clear intellectually. And over the years, like I've adapted through my own experiences, through life experiences, through talking about this repetitively again and again, day in, day out. Like even when you think that I'm having time off or I'm not doing sessions, I'm talking about it personally to people that I meet in my everyday life. It's unavoidable. So it's continuous, the talking about it. And if I stopped talking about it publicly, I think to myself that I would then talk about it more privately to people around me, which might be more beneficial to them. Like I don't think there would be a lesser talking about it. Anyway, there is a point to that. So over the years, I've begun to understand it, and it's like life presented me like the external questions, which made me question what I was saying, even though I was doing it live in front of people, because there wasn't really much interest in thinking about it outside of the live talks. Like when you're doing that repetitively day in, day out, it has quite a profound effect, and you begin to learn all the questions and all the hold-ups, and the questions begin to become very see-through in a way. Like you know that when people say the questions, you've heard it lots of times before, even though they think that this is like really coming out from the pits of their own personal being. You kind of have heard it before. It's almost like psychology when you begin to realize that you fall into like psychological brackets. It's the same with this subject. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. And I'm so happy to answer it again and again and again. But so the more that I've spoken, the more that I've questioned the way in which I speak and teach things. My understanding on the intellectual level has grown, and also my particular favour as this body-mind mechanism has grown. So I've detached myself from the ways other people speak, and I've also begun to realise over the years, I really don't know if I'm talking about the same thing as other people. Like when I remember when I first had the energetic shift, it just like nothing intellectually makes sense that I've ever heard from anyone. And I still have that flavour now, but I'm just used to using the words a lot more. Until you have these energetic shifts or these energetic awakenings, that just sounds like nonsense, what I'm talking about. Oh well. Oh well. It also means that everything I say, everything that anyone ever says about this subject is in a way nonsense. What non-duality can do is it can settle down the mind, it can settle down the bodies, it can settle down people's lives. And non-duality is really clever at doing it on lots of different human levels. But it can't actually touch that which is beyond all of that, who you truly are. You can't actually get there with a word. no matter how you describe it, whether you describe it as consciousness, amness, I amness, beingness, aliveness, no me, no division, oneness, transcendence, it really doesn't matter. Not knowing, mystery, whatever word you describe it as can't touch it. And there's no vocabulary which deserves allegiance. Also the same with teaching. There's no teaching which deserves allegiance. If it resonates for you and is having a profound effect on you, then go towards that. But to believe in any way that that is more truth than the sound of the birds singing now, or the breeze, or the warmth, or the hot face, there is nothing which is correct. All teachings are pointing to something that's beyond themselves. All of them. And some people will say that their teaching is more in line with truth, or some would say their teaching is more in line with truth. And to me, that's a beautiful expression of them. It doesn't mean that they're right. They could be right. It doesn't mean they're wrong. They could be wrong. It's just a beautiful expression of them. It's like listening to the bird song and thinking, this is the right, correct song. This is the song we will have to follow. And that's very much in our human DNA, this idea of leadership and this idea of following and the idea of allegiance, that I will give my devotion to one particular path, and as the Christian group, the Muslim group, the black group, the white group, the underdogs, the overdogs, the dyslexics, the autists, as that group, we will conquer life. When they say conquer life, it's actually, you might think that it means like go into war and everything, but actually what they're saying when they mean conquer is the English word. It's like you get these two balls that fall off the oak tree, I think it is, and then you have to like hit them against each other until one cracks. It's not actually conquer as in like get guns and swords and go up in arms against each other. It's like conquer life as in like conquer. Now if I was really amazing editor, I'd quickly show you a conquer image, but I can't because I didn't think I would say that prior to this talk, so I can't do it. To me, this has no allegiance. It has no allegiance. It can be one way and another. I can hear it in the stars. I can hear it in the breeze. I can see it in someone's smile, in the reflections. I can hear it in a really dogmatic, religious teaching, and I can hear it in someone's dance. Like, it really doesn't matter. There is no me, there isn't a me. There is consciousness, it's peace of mind, it's happiness, how to be happy, it's freedom of issues, it's being nice continuously. Could be, but it doesn't really matter because here we are right now in this. Right here, in this. And what does it give you is an idea. What does it subtract from you is an idea. What is it is an idea. What isn't it is an idea. You get my gist. Boom, boom, boom. And you either like me and resonate with what I say or don't. And none of it is right or wrong. All of it is imperfection. It sometimes can be a little annoying when you over-like me or over-dislike me. I shouldn't really say the over-like. This is bad for attracting an audience, Lisa. But yes, both are a little bit annoying in extremes. Normally, before I'm out of the bat, before the horse's gates have opened, I've got a couple of dislikes when I do a YouTube video, which is it's not annoying, it's a little bit like they do it instantly when my video goes live. They quickly click in and do the dislikes. It's like the Germans putting out all their towels on the sunbeds. That's what it reminds me of. You know. And when somebody overlikes you, it's a little painful because being complimented too much it feels a little bit greasy. You know, when you get too much grease on your hands and then you can't get it off because you haven't got good enough soap. So anyway, back to the title of the talk. I have to look to see what the title is again. I'm sure that I can succinctly put up, would you prefer to be happy or to know non-duality? So basically, the point to that is who gives a flying rat's ass? Who cares? Like in the end. Like all of that is intellectual. Who cares right here, right now? Who cares if you feel happy? Who cares if you know non-duality? You are non-duality. You've never been able to escape that, even with your best efforts. You've been trying to escape yourself for your whole life, the whole century, the whole of humanity. No, not the whole, that's too dramatic, sorry, since we began to speak. We're going so quickly now that if we went any quicker, we'd disappear. Maybe that's the point. Or maybe we could go quite a bit quicker before we disappear, but we're going so quickly as a society. Like if we could take a bird's eye point of view and just look at the whole of creation to humanity, like in how quickly we've evolved and how quickly our ideas and our beliefs and our ways of living and being has changed. It's like the blink of an eyelid. It's so quick what's happened for us. And we're now going so quickly, and we're going even faster, trying to expand and to grow to new things, new endeavors, to go up into the sky, to live on Mars, which is amazing. But I doubt that it would have manifested as quickly if there hadn't been the sense of self. It's been very good for the collection of resources. So right here, what is it that you care about? What is it that you want? And on the human level, that can be relevant to analyze what it is that you want. That has relevance. But what is it that you want? And what do you think it could possibly bring you? It's more of the same, but different clothes on. You get a bigger house, different partner, nicer partner, more money, less debt, less job, no job, working from home, doing this, doing that. And who gives a flying rat's ass, or flying squirrel, about any of it? This is what's important. To be a healthy human that's integrated in this society, it's most probably relevant for you to have some wants, otherwise you'll get bulldozed by other people's wants, desires. You can imagine if you just become a yes man to your partner, or a yes woman to your partner, or a yes they to your partner. You'll get swallowed alive. But that's not the point. In the end, what you're looking for in time, you will never get. What you're avoiding in time will never be the problem. What you truly want is what's happening, is this moment. Right here, right now. Whatever you're daydreaming about isn't your problem. Or this idea of you, who is this you? Or this idea of them, who is this them? There's just this moment, and it's so radically free. It's beyond. Okay, that's the end of the sermon. Now we can take questions if there is anybody there. It's so weird, like in 100 years, what will they look back and think about the people that sit and do live streams to their computer? Or 200 years, or if an alien race came down, they're like, she's talking to her computer. And this somehow stimulates the animal to be interested to speak. Fascinating. Hi, David. Hi, Lisa. What happens to the chakras when the body dies? I don't know. I don't think really the chakras exist, just like everything else. They're just a very convenient way for me to talk about emotions. Like some people have all these very elaborate theses about feces now. Is that poo I'm saying, or is that I'm trying to say doctrine about what chakras are? But I don't really know. Like I suspect that what happens in death is that all the energy and habits and conditions go back into life, so then they are reborn, but those energy and habits don't create one person. They might all stick together so they create like a similar person, but they'll be mixed with something new more than likely, because that's the way life manifests. Like nothing to me dies. But the chakras are really imaginary. Like even though I bang on about them, I'm doing it mostly to get people into their bodies. But then when you even really begin to explore it, like the chakras and the bodies disappear. And when you feel angry, so say I normally would say that anger comes from the solar plexus. Like when you're really in the moment and present, anger is everywhere and everything. Anger is the face you're looking at. It is the carpet, it is the wall, it is the rhinoceros, it is it all. Thanks, David. Feces, 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 feces. I am writing my feces. You're writing a what? Feces. I am writing my theses. I bet people that English isn't the first language, they're like, motherfucker, what is that? That your theses is so close to a poo. Why would you put those words so close together? Theses, feces, feces, feces. I don't know. Maybe because some ancient persons realized that the intellect is poo, like poo. Something which you can flush away. Hi, Lee. Hi, Lisa. You Earthling. Hello, Earthling. May the Force be with you. A silly question, but one I truly need your advice with. Here I go. If it is okay if I begin a potentially intimate relationship, though I'm not perfect. I know nobody is, but do you know what I'm trying to say? I'm sorry, it's a ridiculous question, but your input would be appreciated. Is it okay if I begin a potentially intimate relationship, though I'm not perfect? I think it would be impossible for anyone to be perfect, but if you mean that you've got severe psychological issues in relationships, which could be what you're trying to say in coverted English language, then I would advise you to go and seek help while you're doing it, so they can help you with your difficulties to try and make it as balanced and smooth as possible. Like a psychologist that specializes in relationships or trauma in past relationships or whatever it is that you're inferring that you're not perfect at. But I think that everybody isn't perfect. I mean, I know that I have bumps along the way. We all do. How not to? But then there's some that's more extreme. Like when I was younger, I never set up boundaries properly. And then I would it would build up, and then I'd be like, rage! Wah! And then I would be abusive, like not hitting someone. Although maybe a few times there was little bits of kicks. But the rage in itself was abusive, like that energy, because I didn't set up boundaries. And then when I began to learn that and really learn that and put in practice, then the rage and the anger stopped. I mean, sometimes I have a few Fs and beeps at people, but most of the time not now. Whereas before it was like once or twice a month maybe. The rage would come. The rage monster. Thank you for your question. Thank you for your service, Lee. Oh, I love the Tao, the Tao, the Tao, the Te, Tao, Tao, Tao De Ching. I forget how you say it. Tao De Ching. It's Tao, De, Te. Thank you for your honesty. Love your metaphor. And you're right. Thank you for answering my question. Hi, Derek. I support you with the language limitation thing. I often give up trying to communicate words. I have no confidence in sharing a meaning, e.g., I was riding my bike down a bike track between trees and I heard as clear as a bell and in a voice declaring, there is no such thing as objectivity. And I laughed and I can't translate that. Often then philosophical chat about subject, object and the ridiculous. And that reduces the flavour. Sorry. Other than philosophical chat about subject, object and that reduces the flavour. Yes. But it's also a beautiful endeavour to try to put it into language, but it's seeing it more as a poem than as like fact-based story. Fact-based theses. Hi, W. Kanjas. If cannot be talked about, so let's talk about what we can talk about, which is our problems. Yeah, sometimes I try to avoid that a little bit in public talks, like too much of problems. It's better to book a one-to-one session with me. Not trying to sell them, but it's better because sometimes people and groups find it hard to hold people's problems. And so if we go too much into problems, then the audience all collapses into the problems. They can't hold it without it triggering their problems in a way, or their psychology. Hi, Wesley. Abby Benton. Yeah, I can take you. Hello. Hi, Abby. Oh, they went. You have a live stream. Look at your Skype. Is there a problem with my live stream? Hello? Hello? I think it's okay. Hi, Thomas. Hi, dear Lisa. Thank you for this moment. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you for your service. Hi, Thomas. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Daniel. Sorry for many annoying messages. I got good news. My feeling better now. Wishing you a good live stream. Thanks, Daniel. Hi, Satosh. Hi, Lisa. Last week, you told that karma is not that if you do something bad happens to you. However, if you treat people like shit, they will treat you like shit. You'll eventually be caught. I felt that both the statements were meaning the same. Can you explain that again? Thank you, Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Oh, yeah. Just it's like Like if you're driving your car like really fast and recklessly, at some point you're going to crash it. So that's karma, like one thing leads to another. Karma, it's the way things are. I don't believe in karma like as in like you're in a wheelchair in this life because you're bad in your last life, or the bad things are happening to you because you're bad in your last life. I just see it as a practical thing. It's like one thing leads to another in the apparent story of things. If you treat your body like poop your whole life, then it's going to catch up with you. If you keep putting in bad energy, then that's going to catch up with you. Thank you. Fabrizio. Hi, Lisa. I'm sending you again the same message I sent a few hours ago, hoping that you'll read it during your live session. Thank you for inspiring words and supporting presence you share live. And the question I often ask myself is where am I rather than who am I? I normally perceive more intently upon waking up from sleep that I am, but not necessarily in the body. It's not like an out-of-body experience, but more like existing separately from reality. Daydreaming and waking states seem to be the same somehow. It has been suggested to me that it may be a psychological state called derealization, but I absolutely disagree as the symptoms are different. For me, it's like being with one foot in this dimension and the other in a subtler one. This explains my involvement with spirituality and Advaita since young age. Could you kindly comment and share your thoughts? Love and light. I don't know if I do have any thoughts on that. Yeah, I don't know if I have any comments on that, Fabrizio. Yeah, but thanks for your question. I don't know. Hi, Abby. We have a 2-minute time difference in your live chat as I call you. You cannot hear me as I call you. First, you have a great live chat. I don't see you the first in YouTube. One person you put a what private conversation as a video in internet. I like you, powerful, strong mind. You only do what you want to do. Greetings from Germany. Well, thanks, Abby. I have 2 minutes delay. Hi, Carmela. Hi, Wesley. Hi, Lisa. I hope you are well. I'd like to hear you reflect on synchronicity. Also, I'd like to hear you reflect on spiritual powers, siddhas, and other experiences. For example, psychic and visionary experiences, astral entities, light beings, celestial celestial perceptions, etc. I realize these other dimensions do not represent the highest non-dual teaching, yet consciousness is bringing these experiences forward for many people. Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, I don't know if I have interest in talking about it. Yeah. I think that you can get all these powers as you begin to wake up and have lots of synchronicities, because life is all a dream. And when you really begin to see that, you see how powerful thoughts are in relations to manifestations. But it's not your thoughts, because who is the thinker? Like, where do these thoughts come from, and where do these powers come from? And then the next thing is not to get narcissistic about it. So these powers arise, but they're nobody's. They're as impersonal as the bird singing, and as great as the bird singing. So you can have these powers, but they come and go. But I have very little interest to elaborate on it, really. Just more than, I know it can be nice along the path because it gives you winks that you're doing the right thing. That you're not doing something wrong. Yeah, and if you're interested in that, there's so many people that speak about it. You can dive in and read all books and have a good love fest with all of that. And that's really beautiful, and I'm sure it can heal you and it can change things. But it's always going to be something arising in time, and your freedom is always what's here. They're not leading to here. We're always on the perception that what we do along the path, what we do as humans, is leading us to the timeless, but it can't. The timeless is always present. Your essence, your true nature is present. And this constant daydream that you are going to get enlightened is an illusion. There is nobody that's going to get enlightened. You are but a teardrop. You, me, now I have special powers. Bam, ba-lam, I'm gonna save the world. Imagine if the world was all in peace and harmony. What would you then do with your special powers? You'd be like, oh, bollocks. Oh. Put away psychic, put away visionary, put away celestial. Bollocks, nobody needs my help. Hello, does nobody need my spiritual powers? What am I going to do with them? What's the point in being psychic if nobody needs help? If nobody needs to know about their past or their future, if everyone's happy? No, balls. I should have been born 500 years ago, but then I would have been burnt as a witch or a wizard. And the wizards didn't get burnt. I hope that you don't think that I'm being rude to you, Wesley. I'm just having fun. It's not personal to you. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. I think like when I first got into Buddhism, you know, part of the reason I got into it was because the lady that wrote the book was talking about all these powers that she had of going back into time and listening to the Buddha's sermon and walking through walls, and I was totally like into it. I loved it. So it's all part of the process. I'm not mocking you in particular. I'm just having fun. It's not meaning to belittle anyone. That's sometimes the problem with having fun, isn't it? It sort of belittles things. Hi Mika. Hi Lisa. Do you have a tip for days with extremely low energy? Bit of cocaine? That can always help. Red Bull? Coca-Cola? Mars bar? Being silly. It's really not personal though. I'm not meaning to mock you. I can imagine that hurts if you're the person saying it and then I say these things. I don't mean that. I just want to have fun. Yeah. The thing is the mind is always looking for a better state of being. So if it has low energy, I'm just giving a bit of nice spiritual wisdom now to make up for me being a banana head that's peeling. The thing with low energy is that the mind is always looking at your experience and imagining better. So you have low energy, and rather than just being low energy, you're envisioning ways in which to escape that experience. So with Khaleesi, if she has low energy, which she has a lot of now because she's old, she's older than me, she's in her 50s now. So what we do is we imagine not having that, whereas Khaleesi just accepts it and just is it. But we've got this day plan. So say if it's a Saturday and you've had 5 days at work, and then you're like, yeah, Saturday I'm going to do this and this and this. And then you battle all day to try to get energy and you fight it. And really all you want to do is just rest. Your body's like, bing, 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 rest. Bing, 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 bing. Yeah, it's really funky for me to do a talk when I've not been talking all day. Sorry guys, I will try to become more focused. But basically, really what I'm saying is that all suffering comes from seeking and trying to avoid what you currently are. There is nowhere to get to. You really don't need high energy to do all these high energy things. If you feel lethargic, just be lethargic and do it fully with all your heart. Hi Abby, if you have low energy, listen great music to feel better. It always works on me. Yeah, a bit of dance, techno. That works for me as well, a bit of exercise. But that was kind of counterproductive to what I was just saying, but it doesn't matter. That's what life's like. You say one thing and you can agree with that, and then you can say the complete opposite and agree with that. Siddhartha. Siddhartha. What's Siddhartha again? Let me just look it up on the internet. What does Siddhartha meaning again? He's going for enlightened, I think. Siddhartha meaning. Meaning. Siddhartha novel, that's not meaning. The word Siddhartha is made up of two words in Sanskrit, achieved and artha, which means search for, so which together means he who has found meaning of existence, or he who has attained his goals. In fact, the Buddha's own name before his renunciation was Siddhartha Gautama, Prince of... So he who has achieved his goals. So what goals did you achieve, Siddhartha? Do you think it's only the destined who evolve and move forward, or is it a person with will and determination? Or do you think it's only the destined who evolve and move forward, or is it a person with will and determination? Hello, can you see this? My name is actually Siddhartha. Okay, it's not like your spiritual name. That's a very nice name. You were fortunate to have been given that name. Do you think it's only destined who evolves and moves forward, or is it person's will and determination? Will and determination is predestined. So success might require will and determination, but whether that arises in your body is predestined. So most people of success normally have had to have a lot of will and determination to maintain that and to do that. They can have a very strong belief that they can do it. But that, I mean, predestined is such a weird word, but basically what that means is that whether or not that arises in your particular body mechanism is not under your control. You can't force yourself to have will or to have focus if you don't have it. You can recondition yourself to an extent, but even that, the reconditioning of that self is dependent on Lord, or on life, the Lord, the Holy One. So it's really beautiful, because that means that you can just relax and chill and let life happen. So you don't have to take the steering wheel and keep steering your life to make sure it's successful. Unless, of course, you have an idea of what success looks like. And if it looks like lots of money and lots of achievements, then it's going to be disappointment. But if you really recognize that life is in its appearances, not in its achievements, then that will be a well-lived life. Or that will be a free life. That the best thing that you can achieve is this moment. And this moment is everything. When you really see it for what it is, rather than daydreaming of what it's not, or what it could be, or what it should be. And most of the time it's daydreaming, constant anxiety about what's going to happen, what could happen, or daydreaming about becoming better than what you are. He's having a little say. Denmark, Andre. Hello, Andre. Andre. Hi, Lisa. It always felt like I have been searching for the truth, but now it feels like it's not anymore searching for it, because it no longer feels like a choice. Contemplation is just happening. I just get myself contemplating about myself. But I seem to be stuck. I can see the ego, but I can't really realize what it is that is looking at the ego. Do you have any suggestions? Yeah, that's the really amazing part, is it's not you that ever sees it. So that's the place in which you're getting stuck, is the belief that you will one day see that which is looking at the ego, that place which is looking at the ego. But who would see that? That would be another abstraction of the mind, another division. It cannot be seen, but yet it is seeing. That's miraculous. And that seeing is this moment, that seeing is everything. It's the space, the distance, the colours, the forms. That's total love, that recognition. Sorry, my cameraman, Khaleesi, is wobbling the camera. You got to stop moving, and no licking. So right now, what everybody thinks and projects is that you walked into this room, and then you have this image of this body sort of arising while sitting here, that you walked into this room, that you've got an entire life, that you've got parents, that you've got siblings, that you've had a past, you've done good things, you've done bad things, you're happy, you're sad, your partner, your annoyances, your stresses, your work, and you've got all of this, and all of this walks into the room and then sits down and believes that that bundle of energy, that bundle of life, is looking out of the eyes. Easy, you have to stop moving. I won't employ you as a Cameron person again. Or expect a discount. So they think that this bundle, that all these things accumulate together, and that is something that is alive, that exists as an entity, and that entity is looking out of the eyes. And then the thoughts that say, I choose, I'm thinking, I like this, I don't like this, feel like they feel so close to you, like closer to you than, say, the trees outside. I'm looking at trees. That feels like you, that person that's speaking. Whereas actually that's a functioning that's happening. And it's as much you on the ultimate level as the trees, as the sunlight, as the breeze, as the birds, as everything else. But because it's inside this body and you're looking through this body, it feels like you, and it's been like, it's all accumulated into something that we name as Andre. When you're really identified with it, it means that all of Andre's quirks are going to be extra painful or extra pleasurable. So say if you have like a defunctional sexuality or something, this will be very personal to you. If you have like a cancer, or if you're good at things or not good at things, everything will be very personal because you'll believe that's you. So you begin to get into very psychologically abstract ideas, and then you begin to believe that it's your responsibility to look after yourself and to achieve things and to do things. So it's like this fake entity that was never you begins to get very stressed with the idea of its own existence, and it likes things and dislikes things in a very heightened form. So the attachment to that, so the belief that that bubble is you, makes the entity psychologically disturbed, and then it creates disturbance, and through that disturbance then there is seeking. I have to tell you again, Gleesy, you cannot move. You cannot move. So that that seeking, so then it creates seeking into time. So seeking to try to avoid things and seeking to try to get to things because it feels discomfort as it is now. So it feels discomfort in this moment because of all these bizarre and abstract ideas that it obtains, that it seeks in time to get things. And then there is this constant dance and imagery and feelings appearing of past and future, like windscreen wipers, like going on and off and on and off of past and future, and what you should be and what you need to be and what you're going to be. And the whole time that's happening, there is something that is actually detached from that, that's watching it, that is actually in all things that are appearing, but yet is in no specific thing. And it doesn't belong to the character. The character thinks, I am conscious, whereas consciousness is prior to that. And who you are is actually prior to consciousness. It's actually like consciousness is, in a way, something that manifests with things. It's actually a mystery who you are, but consciousness is like the bridge to it. The same with the I am. They're like these two manifestations that happen, but they're like the bridge to no thing and the bridge to everything. So this consciousness is not attached to you. It's actually in all things now, and it actually disappears. It is simply life conscious of itself, and then life is no thing and everything simultaneously. So you think that you're conscious, that you're someone that walked into this room and sat down and you're looking at me and you're listening to me, but that's not who's conscious. That's a formation that's appearing in front of consciousness. Consciousness is this instant, is right here, is present. It's the stillness and the silence of the sounds, of the movements. It's miraculous. It's always here. It never moves. It never leaves consciousness, no matter what you do, no matter how many resources you gain, no matter how many badges or awards or praises or successes you achieve. There is always consciousness. Always consciousness. This is all you ever wanted. It's all you ever wanted. Are we still going on YouTube? It's all you ever want is this consciousness, is this stillness which is in all things, which is all things. And you can never achieve it because you're something that's appearing in it. You're part of its formation. It's like trying to achieve and get the wind. It's an impossibility. Maybe you could some way achieve the wind because it's seemingly a thing. But nice. Thank you for your question, Andre. Hi, Annika. Your talks and way of being so often make me laugh. Happy. Thank you, Lisa. Thanks, Annika. I have your name. Woohoo. Oh, I forgot. Did I reply to you? You asked me, I think, about your next session. Hopefully I will reply before the session comes about. Hi, Java. Hello. Oh, your question disappeared, Java. It's just replaced with a wave when I accepted you. Carol, dearest Lisa, I haven't checked in with you for quite some time. Been moving between so much and so many and processing so much trauma and heartache. I also somewhat recently lost my second baby girl. My first doggy, Teddy. Oh, sorry to hear that, Carol. It was really special to just be in your quietness just now and to just let the tears flow like they used to every time I came into your presence. Thank you for gracing my life and walking me home one step at a time. Much love to you and your four paws, Carol. Nambia. Nice, Carol, to hear from you. I send you lots of love. Love you, Lisa. Thank you for showing up here today. Oh, I love you, Isabel. Thank you. What beautiful pictures. Yes. That's lovely, the pink and the turquoise. Mwah. Hi, Lisa. I'm so grateful for your weekly talks. Thank you. This is from Ever49T. Thank you for sharing your energy with us online. That's a pleasure. I have a question about the power of thoughts and the law of attraction. How is this process of manifesting a desired reality explained by non-dual philosophy, if it is all as it is? Thank you. So I see the power of manifestation, the law of attraction, as something in the flow of life. I don't see it as something spiritual as such, even though it sort of gets it clumped into that. So I see that you play volleyball. So like playing volleyball, when you play volleyball, you learn techniques of how to do volleyball. And if you want to get better at it, then you have to practice those techniques. And I see the law of attraction exactly like that. If there's things that you want to attract in your life, then there are ways, I think, that are more beneficial to go about it than others. But if that happens, then that's what happens. You can tell people about the law of attraction, but it might not have any effect. And then you can tell another and it might have lots of effect. There's nobody who does that, who does law of attraction. But there might be somebody that begins to manifest that. And then the other part is that to truly understand the law of attraction, is it's not about actually getting them. Like when you really get into it, you realize that it's about the vibration of already having them, really. Like see it, like when you realize, it's like the tantra practice, you realize that you don't really need it. But having said that, there are things to achieve in this life. So if you're homeless, then you need to build a house, say. And so therefore, employing the power of attraction, I feel like that will go a lot more smoother and it will manifest in a more desirable way if you employ the power of attraction, the law of attraction. So there are things to be done in this life, but it's like you give it up to Lord, you give it up to life. So if you want to build a house, you have an image of that house and you put it out to life. This is what I want to manifest. And if it comes, it's beautiful. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. It doesn't detract from your sense of peace and freedom of who you are. So I see it as a practical functioning, just like learning the techniques of how to play a good game of volleyball. And it's like how to play a good game of life. And I think it's really important. I think if you walk around with a feeling that you can't do things and a feeling of disempowerment, then I think that your life will manifest that. And if you walk around with a feeling that you can achieve things and you can do that, then life will manifest that. But it really doesn't bring you happiness. Things are things. Khaleesi, how many more times? As a cameraman, it's all about stillness. Sorry, as a camera woman. Sorry. That was a bit of discrimination. In the olden days, we used to call them men, cameramen, das men. I can't think of any other men's. Postman, but it goes on. And really it should be person. Or they. Post they. Post they. Fire they. Fireman. Fire they. Just might be a little confusing. Or person, I suppose we could use. I'm just trying to bring in the right pronouns. Ooh, I'm hot. Okay, let's go to the next question. Hi, Anka Hi Lisa, can it be said that this play of transcendence, it is made through the human and not by the human? Yes, we can say that. That is one eloquent way of saying it. If yes, then it is clear to me that the human cannot do anything in this regard. Yes, because this impulse to seek liberation, it is not something that I decided. Yes, I just came and I followed. You didn't follow because there is no you. Just following happened. I really like the quote from Rumi that says, "Whoever brought me here must take me home." I would love to explore with you this sense of I, because there is this want to be clear in this regard. Thank you. One thing that happened listening to you is that this projection onto the idea of a master I seem to have is getting crushed. This ego did not get what was expecting, and I love it. It feels light and liberating. Thank you. There's many gurus out there, but for some reason you got attracted to someone that doesn't really go in for all of that. But there's many gurus, and I don't have an objection to that. If there is a desire to go for a guru, then go for it. If you're going to do something, do it with all your heart, but knowing that if you do it with all your heart or you don't do it with all your heart, you had no choice over it. Ramesh used to say things like that. He would say, in every given moment, do exactly what you feel like doing, knowing there is nobody that does anything. So the question is who is listening to Lisa now? Who looks at me? Where is this I that's inside the body looking at Lisa? Where are you now? Are you in the past? Are you in an image of yourself? A feeling? A thought? An idea? A future event? A desire? Where are you? Who looks at me now? There is looking happening, and then there's all these thoughts and projections and feelings whirling around in front of that. And none of that's who you are. Khaleesi, trying to give the appearance of professionalism, and you keep rocking the camera. Who is it? So when I said that to Khaleesi, or when I speak now, who is it that's speaking? You think that there is somebody in here that's dictating that called Lisa, but there isn't. There is just speaking happening, just like there's just speaking happening there, just looking. And it filters out in the expression of Lisa, but it isn't actually, or there isn't actually a solid thing in here called Lisa. There's habits and conditions, and none of them are mine, and none of them are yours. They're just appearances happening for nobody, by nobody. And everyone takes their habits and conditions so seriously. I do this, I don't do this, I will do this, I won't do that, I should do this, I shouldn't do that. We've got plenty of self-shaming words in the English language for all your bad actions. Whereas really there is no good or bad actions, which is totally terrifying for that person that likes the idea of control. There is no good or bad. There is only what is happening right now. The bum on seat, the breeze, the smells, the sounds, and then images and thoughts and feelings, and they don't even belong inside the body or to the chakras. That's even a thought. They belong everywhere, just like everything else. Looking belongs everywhere, feeling belongs everywhere, thoughts belong everywhere. There isn't a single unit which can claim anything. Like, who is you? You're invisible. You do not exist. Thank you for your question. Carla. Hi Lisa, haven't heard one of your talks for a while. I always love the presence I feel. Sending you lots of love. Oh, lots of love, Carla. So nice to hear from you. Martin. Hi Lisa. A few years ago, the sense of individuality fell away, and it stayed that way for a few months. The identified consciousness kicked back again quite hard after I had a bunch of injuries and misfortunes in life. It was like I couldn't be receptive to the truth and just shut down. Can you comment on this? Hey Martin, thanks for your question. Yeah. I always think that life is always leading everything home. And so it brought about those injuries and problems in order to show you what the illusion is holding on to. So those injuries and those problems were most probably like really deep in your psyche, and that creates lots of seeking in that body-mind mechanism. So there is no prescription that I can give you to fix that, but like what would most probably manifest here, and like a wise thing to do, is just to allow it and watch it and notice it and register it and register what feelings come with it, see their depth, and then at some point that will switch back. There'll be a switching back. And just no judgment on it, just watching. And if judgment rises, watching. Bit of this, bit of that. Thank you, Martin, for your question. Hi, Java. Here's the question. After our meditation today, and when I meditate at home, I feel this freedom and peace, but then my mind starts to analyze the moments and everything gets lost. I know it's the I trying to stay in pleasure and avoid the pain. Do you have any comments about this? Thank you for very much, Java. The I or the seeking always wants to get itself involved. So just be conscious of the notion that thinking is designed to find problems with our existence, and through finding the problems it then could stop the problems. It could then think of different ways in which to orientate itself around whatever was hindering it. So when you finish meditating, the mind likes to get its welly boots on and jump right in to the puddle and have a good splash about. And just seeing it for what it is, and that it's no big deal. The mind just likes to have a good old analyze, think about all the problems, think how it could have been better or not be better. And that's all it is. And it comes and goes, and it comes with particular feelings of failure or getting it or not getting it. And just noticing that it's no big deal in the end. The mind always wants to make a mountain out of a molehill. That's what helped us survive for thousands of years. Thank you for your question, Java. Thank you, Lisa. Thanks, Martin. I think that's enough today. I feel tired from speaking now. Maybe I'm longing for my dinner. That often happens around this time. She's off for her dinner. She's like a slug to the cabbage. I saw this slug today, and somebody had trodden on its house. But it was still alive, and I wasn't sure whether it would be fair to tread on it and kill it. Oh, it wasn't a slug, it was a snail. I saw a snail today, and someone had trodden and crushed its house, but it was still alive, because it looked like it would just have a very slow and painful death without its house on its back. But I didn't do that. I thought best to let nature run its course than me interfere. Maybe it was just growing a new house and it looked uncomfortable. Oh, that was shocking. Okay, my loves. I really appreciate speaking with you. I'm going to go now. So if I didn't answer your question, I will next Sunday if you send the question again. Yeah, and I wish you everything, which by default means nothing. I wish you nothing. Goodbye. Now I have to find the off button. It's always like that on Skype. You say goodbye and then or Zoom, and then you're like, oh, where's the off button? Goodbye.